Hello. Okay, let's start our day with a prayer. Okay, good morning, grade 7. Welcome to our virtual classroom where learning English is always possible. Okay, let's start by taking note of those who are absent or those who are here in our Google Meet room. All right, it's good to know that most of you are present today. Thank you, Cheryl. Okay, we are now already on the second week of our quarter one. Before we start, let's have few reminders. Okay, you are reminded to do well by doing good. Okay, remember our English class netiquette. Okay, are you ready? So are these reminders clear? All right, good to know. So let's start with a little throwback. So do you still remember when was the time or when was the exact date when our country's president ordered the community quarantine on Metro Manila? Anyone? All right, that's correct. The announcement happened on March 12, 2020. Actually, the effectivity began on March 15 until April 14. Okay, but the initial plan was to be lifted on the 14th of April. However, there were lots of unforeseen circumstances. Okay, I am wondering, since there are lots of restrictions, right? So children at your age are not allowed to go out, and most of you spent with your time with your family at home or with your relatives. Now, I would like to know how did you spend most of your time at home during the first few weeks of or the first few months of the quarantine? So I have here a platform. We will be using a platform. I'm sure you are familiar with this, the Mentimeter. Okay, I'll give you a minute to prepare. And then you will see there this one. Okay, you will see a question that just like what I've asked you a while ago. So how did you spend most of your time during the implementation of the community quarantine? You have the code. Okay, I'll give you a minute to type your answer. You may encourage you to use complete sentence when you share your answer. Okay, so as of now, there are 18 answers. So let's try to reveal some of your classmates' answers. Okay, ready? All right. I would like to point out only, okay, 6 answers of your classmates. Let's be specific on on what actions your classmates had done since they have shared this statement. So I have here another platform that you could use, that we could use to identify specific things. Let's try if you will be able to determine the actions done in each statement shared by your classmate. Okay, let's start with the first one. Okay, I watch a lot of Korean drama series. Let's try Robert, would you like to answer? Okay, that's correct. So Robert's answer is watch. Okay, watch. That's right. Next, let's proceed to the second statement. I played mobile games with my sibling. Okay, let's call Rose. Would you like to answer? Okay, move the cursor and then put the circle here on the correct answer. All right, good. Played. That's right. Let's move forward to the next statement. My sister and I clean our house during weekend. Okay, what's your answer? Okay, let's have Jane. All right, correct. Clean. Okay. Next, what did they do or what did you do on this statement? What's the specific thing that has been done? Okay, I read Wattpad stories at night. Let's have Raven. Okay, that's right. Correct. Read. Okay, you have mentioned read, but this time, since this is already, this has happened already, it should be read as read. Okay, but the spelling is still the same. Next, I think this is the last one. I drew anime and sketches with my older brother. Let me hear from you, Emily. What's your answer? Okay, that's right. So kindly move the cursor. Okay, so the answer is true. Okay. So do you still remember the words that the answers? How do you define the encircled words? Can you categorize the words? Or what type of words are these? All right. So if you could see on my slide. Those are actually action words. Now, since you have mentioned action words, how do we call them? They are verbs. That's right. Now, in this lesson, you will be guided with different things on how to distinguish an action word, and then later on we'll proceed to the main topic. So verbs, as stated by your classmate, is somewhat the same with what um, the idea on the module. So it is a word used to describe an action, state, or an occurrence. It is an action word in a sentence that describes what the subject is doing. So technically or specifically, these are actions done by the subject in the sentence. So these are the words that were answered or that were selected from the answers of your classmates. So what did you notice? What do they have in common? So actually, all of these, yes, may correct. So definitely you have noticed correctly because you have seen the ed and the d. So that's therefore if the verbs end with d or ed, how do we call this one, or what how do we classify them? Okay, correct. That's a good observation. So you must be cautious on distinguishing um, past tense. So you have mentioned about D and ED. So we considered that as simple past tense. A while ago, I've asked you regarding the things that you have done. So this time, I would like to share with you my pandemic playlist. So you could see this one. Okay, this one is a worksheet that I have created. Okay, and then you have to fill out or completely answer the missing lyrics. Okay, so I can see answers right now. Let's see my screen. So let's try to check. Let's have number 1. All right, the correct answer you could see is saw. Okay, and that is the past tense of the word see. Okay, of the verb see. Number 2, the answer should be give. Okay, it's the past tense of give. Correct. Next, the answer for number 3 is planned. Double N-E-D. Okay, that is the past tense form of the verb plan. Then we have number 4, believe. Okay, the past tense of believe. And lastly, for number 5, we have focused. Okay, which is the past tense form of focus. Who got 5 over 5? So automatically, I will see how many students got it correctly. Okay, based from the answers from our activity, we could identify, or we could distinguish that there are 2 verb forms. So we have the regular, and then some answers are considered regular, and then answers are also irregular. So let's distinguish the two. When we say regular, these are verb forms. Okay, to make it past tense, you add D or ED to the base form of the regular verb. Now, to make it irregular, what are you going to do? Okay, an action that does not need D or ED to form its past tense is considered irregular. So I have posted also on our Google Classroom the list. Okay, for this week, you are expected to recall the concepts of verbs just like what we had a while ago. So at the end of the lesson, students like you should be able to determine the appropriate verb forms used in simple past tense, construct meaningful sentences using correct simple past tense, and use simple past tense in varied contexts. Okay, when are we going to use, or when do we use simple past tense, right? Okay, let's have here a definition. So it says simple past tense is used to talk about actions that happened at specific time in the past. So indeed, simple past tense is used to talk about actions that happen in specific time. Okay, I will be showing you here what is exactly on the module that we are using. So refer to page 5 of module number 2. So how are we going to construct simple past tense to form the verb?
Simple verb forms are created by adding E and D in the end of the verb.
So I'm sure you're able to view it properly. So remember how to use them correctly. Details on how are you going to formulate or to form regular verbs into its past tense. Now, there are also cases that you will encounter regular verbs, but this time there are no exemptions, but you have to familiarize yourselves with the list. So I have here some examples, okay, examples of the list that I have uploaded in your Google Classroom. So now that you were able to see how are you going to use and when are you going to use simple past tense, I have uploaded on the Google Classroom, on our Google Classroom, links using book widget. Okay, since simple past tense refers to the action taken completely in the past, let's try to recall few unforgettable events or phenomena that took place in our country. Okay, think you were able to completely finish it. Time's up. Let's try to check if your answers are correct. Sharing the correct answers. So these are the correct answers. So you will be seeing this one. I'll show you the screen that I have. And there are still students who are answering. So 5 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago, you were able to complete it. Before we proceed to the explanation of our asynchronous task, okay, since no questions raised, let's proceed to giving of asynchronous task instruction. So this time, I'm sure you're familiar also with Flipgrid. So this is not the first time that we use it. Your task is to create or to produce a travelogue, which is a journey of oneself in a particular time. But this time, let's try to focus on the use of simple past tense. So you will be choosing one event that you had experienced before the pandemic happened. So describe your journey in that place. Use English language only. So you could record minimum of 2 minutes and then maximum of 3 minutes. Our asynchronous task. All right. So I'm sure I'm hoping that you were able to learn more about verbs and then specifically on how are you going to form base form into its simple past tense form of the verb. So to conclude our synchronous class, kindly recall the key concepts discussed today using our Padlet. So I'll be now sharing the link on the Google Meet chat and then click the link and try to share what you have learned. So you will see this one, takeaways. Why is it important to understand the concept of simple past tense? So pin your answer on our Padlet wall. Who would like to read aloud your answer? Can we hear one answer from the girls and one from the boys? Okay, let's have Winnie Bell. Okay, thank you, Winnie Bell. And from the boys, let's have JC. Okay, so good to know, okay, that you were able to learn or to grasp the information, the key concepts that were presented today. Okay, thank you for being participative. If you have question with the task or with the lesson, you could easily access me through our GC group chat and you can message me in my teacher account Facebook. Okay, good job. So you were able to distinguish. So well done, you did it. Hooray. These are the objectives that we were able to accomplish. So you put a check already. And then your goal is to continue the use of simple past tense and do your tasks. Okay, and then for our assignment, just do the travelogue, access, and then read page 6 of your module for our next lesson. Okay, I'll see you next week for our synchronous. Bye.